Hello, everyone. Happy, beautiful Sunday. I don't know how everyone is feeling, but today, to me at least, the energy feels very soothing and healing, but it also feels very transformative, of course, in Scorpio season. It feels like we are really moving through a lot, and like the release is in the surrender. It's definitely like a Neptunian vibe for some reason. Okay, so so this morning, the moon in Sagittarius squared Neptune in Pisces. So I don't know about y'all, but I've been having some really vivid dreams. And then we also had the moon in Sagittarius sextile Jupiter. So a lot of like expansive spiritual healing, mystical, esoteric energy kind of coming through, which I feel we definitely need right now for sure. So we'll talk about the astrology. I have some cards here. I pulled cards and the reading was very powerful and very positive. I pulled a lot of major arcana cards. So it's like big changes happening, big things. And there's definitely like a stability too, as we are moving through so much. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So let's look at the chart and see what's going on here. And I noticed also today, there are some very interesting aspects going on. There's like a ton of subtiles. Okay. So just move this. Okay. So it's really interesting, actually. If you look at this chart, there's a lot going on here. I have the planets, I have a lot of the goddess asteroids, I have the nodes here, White Moon Selena, Black Moon Lilith. There's like all of these amazing quintiles and septiles going on. And I know this goes a little bit beyond like normal astrology, I guess, but I look at almost like just the general shapes of the chart too. So I feel that like things have been almost like opening and closing, like the portals, the gateways. It's like an inhale and an exhale. That's like the vibe I'm getting leading up to Samhain and afterwards. This is a Uranian planet over here. So there's a lot of septiles, which of course are openings, spiritual openings, gateways, weird energy getting channeled, getting funneled down from other galaxies, other planets, other dimensions, other places, spaces, just a lot of weird stuff going on. And it's felt that way this entire time to me personally. This time of the year is just so powerful. We have these alignments with certain constellations, like the Northern Crown constellation, like we talked about on the new moon. So it's just very powerful right now. We also have Mars in Scorpio, and we have Mercury in Scorpio. And we also have Venus in Capricorn. So Mercury in Scorpio, we want to go deep mentally. Surface level, small talk situations, they just don't appeal to us anymore. We want to penetrate. We want to go in deep into people's psyches, into the truth. We want to know what's hidden. We want to know the mysteries, the occult. We want to know what is being hidden from normal view. We want to go there to the dark place and just kind of see what we find. My boyfriend actually has this placement. He also has Mars in Scorpio too. So it's an intense placement of just needing to know more, but also having this like extraordinary ability to see in the dark, like an owl, to see the truth, to see the deeper threads, the deeper meanings of all things. And that also applies to like traumatic things. So I don't think it's any accident that the things that have happened with this concert happened when, well, at least our reaction to it, like people are like on that, like they're so aware of it. And not even that, like everyone is like able to see the spiritual things that are happening surrounding that. And I do think it's because also we have all of these planets in Scorpio. Jamie had texted me and said that she was kind of seeing like how people are really starting to crack open and like awaken to these things. And I do think that that paired with the Scorpio, like literally seeing the truth and all of that is playing into that as well. So I'm going to stop sharing this just for a second. I'm going to change the aspects. So yes, a lot of interesting things going on this week too. Just do standard. Okay. Okay. So this is today's chart. Oh my gosh, my cat is gonna like lunge at this window right now because there's squirrels out there. So this is today, the 7th, at about 11:45 a.m. It's about 12:30 p.m. here. Today is the end of daylight savings time, so we fall back an hour. And today we have this grand air trine with Saturn, Hygeia in Libra, and then also connecting to Black Moon Lilith. So there's definitely some deep healing going on. And then as you can see here with these blue lines, it actually makes a kite. So it's kind of like all coming out through this opposition into this out through the Chiron. So Hygeia is a goddess asteroid of healing, of medicine, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So these are, to me, this almost means like it's connecting the almost Virgo kind of structured earthy herbal healing with the Chiron, which would be like the spiritual deep soul wound trauma healing. Those are kind of being connected together actually. And this grand trine of air, we can definitely get lost in our thoughts normally, but because the Hygeia and the Chiron are at play here, I think our thoughts can actually lead us to a space of healing. So it's not a bad thing. We're not going to get stuck in that or anything like that. I mean, you can if you don't want to heal, but I think you guys want to heal. Okay, let's go to Wednesday, the 10th. So on the 10th, we have, here's Mercury up here. Mercury and Scorpio is going to conjunct Mars and Scorpio. So they're going to align at the same degree. This is a little bit before the fact at this time. And then we're also going to have Mercury and Mars squaring Saturn. So I know it's kind of hard to see with all these aspects here. But here we have this red line that is the square to Saturn. Oh, and the moon will also be in Aquarius too. So those will be together. That's some powerful stuff there. Saturn in Aquarius, of course, is those like structural breakdowns and breakthroughs. Now, because we have Mars here, this is very much the tower. The tower is very Uranian because Uranus is like a lightning, lightning destroying things, but that aggressive, like actual crumbling of the tower, my teacher, Rick Levine, always says that it's probably Mars too. So this is a tower moment for sure. Being in Scorpio, I mean, we're all in a pretty intense mindset already. So what is revealed might not be comfortable, but it will lead us to a deeper space of healing and transformation and a better state of mind to be able to handle the difficult things that might be ahead. On Thursday, which is actually Veterans Day here in the US, we have Mercury and Scorpio forming a quincunx to Chiron. Now, the reason I thought that this was significant is because Mars is in Scorpio. So in traditional astrology, Mars, the Martian, the marshal, the soldier, the warrior, does rule Scorpio. So Scorpio is ruled by both Mars and Pluto. And then if we look at Chiron here, Chiron is in Aries, which is the warrior, the soldier. So this is like two Mars-ruled signs here. And I thought that was really interesting because it's Veterans Day. This is literally what we're celebrating. But because this is a frustrating quincunx energy, the first thing that I thought of was like PTSD. There are these collective soul wounds that have been created by the war machine that just consumes everything. And it's not even something that we want to be a part of. It's something that's been forced, into our timelines. And we even pay for it with our taxes. And it makes me so mad. I really have this newfound respect, I would say, for veterans working with the Morrigan, because she's like, very much a protector and a goddess of warriors. So I do think that some of these like collective wounds will be coming up in our minds for sure, since or because Mercury is so close by. There's something with that. There's something with like the trauma. There's something with the military PTSD. There's something with that. And the green lines here are the quincunx. It's pushing out through the Mars and Scorpio, which, as I was stating before, is like the seasoned veteran. And it actually is a yod, because the quincunxes are coming down here, connecting to Ceres, which is in Gemini. And then we have a sextile between Chiron and Ceres. So this is really significant. Yods are very frustrating aspect patterns that bring us to a new level of spiritual understanding generally. It can be really any kind of understanding. It's almost like that pressure created by those quincunxes, that frustration. If we can come back down here, connect Chiron and Ceres, which is like, it's the opposite of disassociating. It's like facing our trauma, facing the things that we've been through, and knowing how and when to cut those things off or create space between us and what has happened. If we can bring those two things together, we'll be able to create this like magical energy that will push out and maybe help us just see things in a new way. It's going to be Mars and Scorpio thing. So the worst trauma you've ever been through, it's resiliency, things that have tested us, push us to the very limits of what we actually can handle. Maybe we'll have a new appreciation for those things, or we'll have some kind of healing experience. Yeah, there's a lot going on this week. Okay, next day on Friday the 12th, and this is all in CST time. On the 12th, and we saw that yod there as well, we have the sun in Scorpio trining Neptune. So the sun is in 20 degrees, 33 minutes of Scorpio, and Neptune is in 20 degrees. It will be in 33 minutes of Pisces. Sun trine Pisces, what is that? That is Poseidon. That is extreme deep healing with Scorpio here too. The connection is in the surrender. The surrender is like the key when it comes to Neptune, because things aren't going to make any sense. You're going to have visions, you're going to have strange dreams, things are going to get foggy, they're unclear, but in that confusion, we have no choice but to surrender. We have no choice but to let go, realizing that Neptune just has more power than we want to admit. In alchemy, Saturn, which is lead, is easily dissolved. So Neptune dissolves Saturn. Neptune dissolves reality as we know it, and things get really, really weird. So on this day, they're going to get weird, but it's teaching us something very important, teaching the Scorpio part of us how to surrender to the process. We just have to. On the next day, Mercury in Scorpio will oppose Uranus. Mercury, the way we think, our communication, is going to directly oppose Uranus. Unexpected changes, revelations, aha moments. Your ideas are going to be on point on this day. Mad scientist vibes, inventive, innovative, strange, eccentric, unique ideas, thinking about things in a new way. And we are in Scorpio season again. So we're thinking about our trauma in a new way. We're thinking about the collective wounds in a new way. We're thinking about our darkness, our shadows, the darkness and shadows of society in a new way. We're going to need this for the Pluto return coming up in February for the United States. So that's only a United States thing. And on Sunday, the 14th, finally, see, the thing is with this Pluto return, it is for the United States, but think about the place that the US has in the world. It always seems like everybody kind of hates us, to be honest. It definitely seems that way. But at the same time, it seems like we're always leading the trends. Like whatever the US does, we tend to just radiate that outwards, and people just kind of like, some people will grasp onto that. Doesn't mean we're better, doesn't mean we're more important, but we definitely have some kind of effect and influence, it seems, over the rest of the world, at least in some way. So I think this Pluto return that we're going through, it's going to be very visible to the other countries, to the rest of the world. It's going to be visible. Everyone's going to be watching. They're all going to see it, but I think it's going to affect everybody in some way too. And maybe that can be said for all countries. So on the 14th, we have Juno, which is right here, moving into Capricorn. Okay, so, oh, I should have done, it's okay. So Juno will move into Capricorn, 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and it's going to join up with Venus, Estrella, White Moon Selena, and Pluto in Capricorn. A lot of Capricorn energy. All right, I'm going to stop sharing here. So I talked about what Juno is in a different video. I don't know which one. Juno is basically Hera and is very like Libra energy. So she is the goddess of marriage, of commitment, of dedication, and partnerships. So for example, while goddess Pallas Athene is like separating from femininity, Juno is actually that energy of complete surrender in relationships. So when you're with your person, that complete just like submitting, surrendering, but then also like dissolving the ego in that process. And that's because Virgo and Scorpio, supposedly in ancient astrology, I don't have any like for sure evidence on this, but some of the best astrologers, in my opinion, of this time do say this, that Virgo and Scorpio used to be one sign, and that's why their symbols are so similar. But Libra, those two things were split, and Libra, or you could say Juno, was put in between those two signs because it's basically representing a split that should have never happened in femininity, because Virgo is the virgin, which is a woman unto herself. Virgo is very selfless, very in the background, helpful, helping with the details, while Scorpio is very much like in your face, dark goddess kind of energy. Here is the truth, look at it. I'm gonna like put you through a death kind of rebirthing process. It's ruled by Mars, so it's very martial, it's very forward. Those two things should be one, but over time, because of the patriarchy, they split, became two different things, and Libra was inserted as like the neutral to balance those two different polarities of feminine energy out. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a picture of the cards that I pulled, and all I can say is wow, because they are very, very powerful. And I actually don't pull some of these cards often, but when I do, I'm like, yay, we're getting somewhere good right now. Okay. Yay. All right. So I don't know where to put myself here. Can I make this smaller? Can't. Okay. I'll just move it then in a second. So these are the cards that I pulled. We'll come back to the Oracle archetype cards from the Wild Unknown deck. So yeah, wow. As soon as I looked at this, I was like, okay, oh my gosh, there's something really important and big happening right now. So the first card that I pulled, which was on the bottom of the deck, is the Sun. Whenever I see this card, I'm like, yay, this is like very positive generally. It's just feeling that like childlike joy and feeling the sun on your face and receiving all of this abundance. Obviously, it's like the masculine energy. It's very seen, it's very heard, it's very joyful and free. So like that's such a great card to get. So that's like really shining over this like entire reading right now. So some of you know, because you've been with me for a while. Wait, how did this happen? Did I just put it down wrong? Well, it doesn't really matter. So some of you know already, this is how I read cards. This is how I was taught. 2 cards in the past, 1 card in the present, and 2 in the future. So in the past, we have petty, stupid fighting. Is this card just for me? Because I was arguing with people on Facebook yesterday. Don't tell anyone. It happened. It ended up just being a distraction for like the spiritual work I had to do yesterday. This is petty fighting. I mean, this is like just like all of society right now, the drama and the petty fighting, you know, they're just like waving their wands around. They don't even care who they hit. They don't even know what they're fighting about anymore. They think they do, but they don't. That all had to end. And like now we're at this point where it's like Judgment Day. Revelation, and justice here in the present is tied in as well. justice will be served. And I think it's really important that we remember that, because it's easy for it to seem like we as humans are the only ones here. We're the only thing that matters, or, you know, like, but there's so much going on that we don't see and that we don't notice. There is so much going on in the spiritual world. There are so many types of spirits and deities who are so much more powerful than us, that are doing their work here on earth, but we just don't see them. So I think during these hard times, it's really helpful for all of us to remember that we are not the only ones here. There are spirits, there are gods and goddesses that are working to like make something right in this world, because we are so far out of balance, but they are here trying to help. So I think it's super important to remember that we aren't the only ones. We're not the only ones. And if we surrender to the process just like a little bit, it will work out the way it's supposed to. It's not just like all on us, all on our shoulders. I'm like feeling a heaviness as I say that, because it really can feel like we have this big responsibility. So I'm going to move this. And I think that's where this card comes in, the box. And the description for this card is about, basically, it reminds me of like Saturn's cube, which Saturn's cube, if you look in like the astronomical pictures of Saturn, there's like a perfect, I think it's a hexagon storm. And no one knows why it's that shape, but it's on Saturn in this like hexagon shape. And if you take those measurements of that hexagon, you can also make it into a cube. So that's kind of like where the Saturn's cube things comes from. And Saturn is reality. Saturn is rules, restrictions, boxes, things that box us in. But like I was saying earlier, reality is easily dissolved in alchemy, in astrology, in reality. It just is. So where am I going with this? Okay, so that's all I have to say about that card. Judgment Day. Again, I just think like there's something, this is like, it's supposed to be like an angel, like an archangel or something in the sky of like the end of days. Oh my God, the end of days. I don't want to talk about this. I told everybody not to talk about it, but I do feel like the energy is a little better today. But at that concert, literally I saw screenshots where it said like the end of days, see you on the other side. Weird. Okay. That's being all taken care of, I think, by these spirits. Justice will be served. Balance needs to be recreated. Where are you putting your energy right now? Where are you giving your energy where you're not getting it back that you deserve to? That's important right now too, because those things will take so much more of your energy than you can ever realize, and it's draining. The future looks pretty good, I will say. The Empress. What a beautiful card. This is the symbol of Venus, of course, which is still used as the symbol for females. For women, I'm trying not to say females or males because it just sounds like so demeaning sometimes. The Empress, I definitely associate this with like Taurus, I would say, because this is like very abundant. This is the ultimate archetypal mother who's just very giving, very loving, very generous. Mooney, it's okay. Oh my gosh. So I usually try to lock her upstairs, but then I feel bad. She's a Gemini. No, it's okay. All right. So the Empress, abundance will be yours, but also we are going to get to this place of being able to give love and give things to others, and we're going to receive that back too. And this is like, I love this card. This card is about having a vision. He's holding the whole world in his hands. Like, broaden your vision, like your ideas of the future. It can be bigger, it can be grander. If you can dream it, you can do it. But seriously, I've read other people's interpretations of this card. It's definitely visionary. To me, it's Sagittarius energy for sure, Jupiter energy. He might be waiting for something because he's like by this like ocean, this body of water. Is he waiting for a ship to come in so he can travel? According to the cards, that's kind of what's happening. The ship will come in. What you put out there, what you dream, what you vision, it's going to come back to you. Speaking of dreams, there is something Neptunian going on. the Siren. Didn't know this card was even in this deck. I love sirens. I have a whole video about the winged demonesses, so I highly suggest you check that out if you want to. I went all into all of these like female deities that were portrayed as demons, these winged demons. The sirens being one of them. They weren't originally these like mermaid creatures. If you don't know what sirens are, they're basically according to like Odysseus, they are these creatures who have these sea creatures who have this beautiful voice that lures men to their deaths. So like when they hear this voice, they can't even help themselves. They just like jump off the ship, and then the sirens, I don't know, consume their soul, I guess. I was just talking to Jamie about this. We were talking about sirens and how it's almost like they were cursed, like this mythological creature. They were cursed to be this way. They didn't choose to be this way. And I'm sure this has something to do with like femininity and women's pain. They didn't want this, but they became this. I'm actually going to pull up also the meaning of this card. That's the wrong one. And I also pulled agape again. I keep pulling that like over and over again. Where is it? Oh, here it is. New share. So we'll just read it together because this book has like such great descriptions. The siren. The siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. We find ourselves lost in a spell of desire and longing, perhaps even lust. Whether the thing calling to us is ultimately good or bad is somewhat irrelevant. It's the journey that matters, and the work of the siren is to take us on a deep psychic descent. Following her song, we go down, down, down to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied to find our way back to dry land. Try as we might, resisting the call may not even be an option, unless, like Odysseus, we bind our hands to the mast of our ship. It's likely, though, that falling for her call is the only way we will come to live more fully on the surface. Wow. So very metaphysical, the tying to the mast of the ship, because in the Odyssey, Odysseus he wants to hear the siren song without like leaping to his death. So he has his ship crew tie him to the mast of the ship so he can hear it, but you know, he won't fall to his death. And then the sides say, other iterations of siren archetype include the nymph, the mermaid, and the fairy. They often come in sets of 3 as a trinity of temptation. Yeah, the trinity of 3 is a thing. Of course, the Morrigan is a winged demoness as well. And it's not what you think, like kind of demoness. It kind of is, but it's not. It's, in this case, I do think it's like more of like a demonization of powerful female goddesses and deities. And okay, so that's pretty much all I've got for you guys today. Agape is about basically using our experiences and sharing them with others, and of course a way of love. So everything that we're going through, it is leading to this place of love. And it makes me think of the Stephen Forrest Pluto book, where he talks about Pluto in the 12th house, which is actually my placement, but how striving to get to this place of like compassion is like the ultimate goal. And it's really hard. You know, I struggle with that too. I get really mad. I'm very fiery sometimes. I know we all are. We all have our triggers and we all get upset about things, but striving for that space of compassion is like really like the holiest, most ultimate place to be in, to get to. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you probably for Sagittarius season, which happens on the 21st. Well, no, I'll see you next Sunday. Okay, bye.